Hey everybody, it's Mrs. Tally again with your second edition of Art from 6 Feet Apart. This is the Great Serpent Mound from the Indigenous Americas Unit, and it was made by the Fort Ancient Culture, which, if you can imagine, the Midwest, like Ohio, Northern Kentucky, Southeastern Indiana, go Indiana, woo woo. This is made probably as a sacred or perhaps even a utilitarian site, like a solar calendar, similar to the Stonehenge piece that we did in Global Prehistory. And we'll get into that in just a minute. But vocab wise, you're looking at a term on the slide. It says effigy mound right here. Let me get my pointer out right here. And an effigy mound I put on your notes, but I didn't define it. So really it's just a mound of earth, which you definitely have. You can see how tall it is here. And it's usually in the form of some kind of animal, oftentimes like abstract or stylized. And you will typically find evidence of it being used as a burial site, although this particular piece doesn't have burial artifacts found in the actual mound. At least we haven't found them yet. But we did find burial evidence. Here's a site map up on top, the right. And it does have a burial mound a little bit off of the site of the actual Serpent mound itself. So there was burial nearby, burial adjacent. Couple things about the shape. It definitely undulates. It has a what looks to be like a serpent mouth at its head, swallowing an egg or perhaps even the sun, like it's representing a solar eclipse. Or some people even think it's the eye of the serpent. And then as you wind around the body and get to the tail spirals around. And what's really cool and what cannot be a coincidence is that the head aligns with the summer solstice on June 21st when the sun rises. And then in the winter solstice on December 21st, the sunrise aligns with the tail, similar to Stonehenge with the heel stone. And that just cannot be coincidental. So perhaps these people in the Fort Ancient culture used this mound to track farming. And we know that they introduced maize or corn agriculture to the Ohio River Valley. So they really would need to track time periods and different times for planting and for harvest. So that seems logical. Other people believe because Halley's Comet occurred in the sky around 1066, about 4 years before this was built, that perhaps this whole undulating serpent is really supposed to be the comet. And they were reflecting something supernatural that they saw in the sky. A snake, though, we know is very important in this particular tribal group. They will show serpent imagery in a lot of their art as kind of like divine beings or powerful beings. So, whatever this serpent mound is really for, it is something incredibly important, be it a harvesting type of reference and calendar, like a solar calendar, or marking of a sacred burial site that is close by, or marking like a celestial event like Halley's Comet. It is important and one of the cooler kind of earth mound art pieces that you will find in art history. So that's it for me for this particular piece, and I'll check back in with you soon with our part 3 in Indigenous Americas. Take care. Bye.